Good morning, my friends. So today in Nico's garden we are going to build a compost heap and charge some biochar. Now our very first step is to take these plastics and spread them out, and that will sort of cause a termite-resistant layer between the compost heap and the termites. So just before we continue with this video, let me introduce myself. My name is Danou. This is the Food Forest Namibia. Our goal is to spread permaculture into Africa. If you feel that that is a worthwhile cause, consider liking the video, leaving a comment. That would be wonderful. And obviously, if you can cultivate that little subscribe button, that would be the best. Let's go. So once the plastic layer has been laid, we will then open over there and start moving in the biochar that we placed there last week. Now when I say biochar, what I actually mean is normal charcoal fines. Now this I got from I hope you can see this on the camera, from a charcoal factory last week, and so it's not charged yet. And what charging does is it basically gives you microorganisms that goes and lives in all of the little pores. Apparently when you have charcoal, there's millions and millions of little holes and hidden places for microorganisms to hide. They go and make a home there, and then they start pulling nutrients and water from the side. Now obviously the water goes in there without the microorganisms because it's so porous, it's like a little sponge, but it's a fantastic place for the microorganisms to hide. Somebody said charcoal doesn't discriminate, it absorbs everything. So that is true. So you have to make sure that you have a nice thing to feed it. So what we're going to do is make a nice heap of compost, feed it so it absorbs all the good nutrients and all the good things. And then once the plant root touches it, those microorganisms can then work with the char and with the plant. And it's almost like a little sponge where the root can take what it needs when it needs it. Matthias, have you ever built a compost heap before? Compost heap, a way to make compost before today? Never. I'm standing closer to you, so the microphone. Okay. So don't stab holes in the plastic, just be careful. Okay, so the idea is, so we're going to put a layer of this, and then we're going to put what we call brown material, grass and leaves and things like that. Yeah. And then we're going to put green material. Now green material, everything we have now is green materials. The green grass, horse manure, chicken manure, those things are green material. Green material. So we want to make like a lasagna. You know what's a lasagna? Yeah, I know. Lasagna is those food that you make in the layers. Yeah. So your layer of brown material, layer of green material, layer of brown material, layer of layer on top of this. Maybe after 3 or 4 layers we put another layer of this inside, but this next one we can just put thin like this, maybe just a couple of shovels. And then the idea is those things, they will compost, and then the microbacteria will go in and they will come and live in here. I wish I had a microscope so I can show you what it looks like in there, but there's plenty of houses inside there. Maybe I'll show you a picture on the internet quickly, on the phone, on how it looks when you look for what they look like when they are inside. Okay, so I think the first thing we do is we go grab brown material, a grass and leaves and sticks, small sticks maybe, and put a layer of that in here. Okay, there's the first one, and then the second one we can go grab some of the horse manure. Came out of the stables this morning, put that in the second layer. Let's do that quickly. So this is the recycle yard of my brother-in-law, and he found out about our hot water issues. My wife came and bathed at their house and said she's tired of taking a cold bath every day. So this, he said we can have this little donkey, warm water donkey, and we were looking for something proper, made with thick material, and this one is made, looks like from an old gas bottle or something, which is a nice strong material. The problem is if you don't use a strong thick material, then they burst. You have to have one that's strong enough so you can put a pressure valve of a geyser on the top or at the outlet, and that doesn't explode, which is a very important thing for a donkey, I believe. Okay, so this is our hot water donkey. Just for interest sake, the term hot water donkey comes from the fact that in the olden days they were made with those 440 gallons or 200-liter tanks, and they were standing on their side like this, and they would weld legs in front and legs in the back, and then there would be a pipe, hot water pipe, coming out in the back, and that would look like a donkey, so they would call them hot water donkeys. Now basically what it is a place that you can make fire below. There is then a shaft. Roxy, give me a chance. A shaft that goes through, and you make a little fire. The fire goes through the middle and it heats the water in here. And here you have an inlet at the bottom, outlet at the top, and you turn that into hot water. The tank turns hot and takes about 15 minutes and you have hot water. One of the things that I'm thinking, probably not do it now, is put a copper pipe from there through into the fire pit, and then it goes up the chimney, down the chimney, and then out towards the house. Now the reason why you want to do that is then you have, as soon as you make the fire, you immediately have hot water. The fire runs through the copper pipe, through the chimney. That turns the water hot immediately, but as soon as the fire dies, you still have this reserve here. But I am on a strict budget at the moment, so I don't want to spend that extra money, and this will just have to do. We will place bricks around. The bricks will then serve as a little footing, so we make fire on a little footing, and then we will also, in the back of the concrete, make a little exit where you can push the ash out. So we're quickly gonna start doing that, and then I'll show you progress soon. So while I was in town, the guys finished this. Now a little bit later today, I hope before I go to the exercise, I'm gonna take this pipe out, yeah, and then just work it smooth. That is basically just a gully for the ash to get out, ash and stones and things like that. And then we also collected some boxes today, not as many as I hoped, but that will then work on our compost heap. Let me show you the progress there quickly. So it definitely isn't as impressive yet. Tomorrow we'll add more layers, we'll add the boxes, hopefully get a couple more boxes, and then we'll add the horse manure that comes out tomorrow. We'll also add there. And you see here, because there was charcoal in the wheelbarrows, that's already starting to mix with the horse manure. So at the end of the day, you want everything to be black and mixed, and I think that will give us something quite nice. Okay, so the bricks has obviously only been used for formwork, so we just placed the bricks, filled up some sand next to it, and that just kept the concrete from going out. The slab is about this thick, 200 millimeters, and because we're not going to put any pressure on it or anything like that, I just thought we'll just chuck it on the ground, make it like a big rock, save a lot of concrete, save a lot of time. And so now, just to remove this thing, this pipe has just been placed in there just to sort of keep a smooth area. Now, for the people saying I'm doing a terrible job, I'm sure I am. I'm definitely not the best builder in the world, but I had to get it done now. I can't wait until tomorrow, otherwise it's going to be dry. So there's a little bit of a fall. You know, you start doing things wrong when you start doing it with your hands, in concrete in any case. There's a little bit of a fall from there to there, and so the idea, that should not be there, the idea is simple. I'll show you now. Just quickly want to finish this a little bit. And so I wasn't here for the mix. I see it's already starting to crack. So I'm not sure whether it's just too much water, whether the cement mix is right. Unfortunately, wasn't here to supervise it, but we'll see. Luckily, it's not a house foundation. When you do a house, I would strongly recommend that you follow the exact instructions and you mix it with a bucket. These buckets we used when I arrived from work. There was still a little bit of concrete left, so just poured a little bit in each bucket, broken buckets, to make like little stepping stones. Anyway, okay, so let me show you the idea of this thing quickly. So when that donkey is on here, it will be placed like this. On this side you'll make that little fire, and then if for some reason you want to take out the ash, etc., put the hose pipe in and all the ash washes out here in the back. Genius. So very basic, I think. Very fast, very simple. I think that's going to be the end of my story. I hope you can see me on camera trying to do a little bit more tripod work today. I think that's going to be the end of my story. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.